All right, here we go again. Buckle up. Let's try to smooth out those rough roads. I looked at the schedule. I got the blip. Look at the VA, kind of disability schedule requirements, and I don't remember that 100% ever being that. So they changed it. Right, the 100% looks like it's a lot higher than I thought it was. Right, I don't know how recently. I mean, did they change it under the last Trump administration or something? I don't know. Somebody changed it because I don't remember it because I thought 100% was like what I see as 70%. And all those other things that they give away free. I mean, 100% disability is serious stuff nowadays, right? Right. It's a little bit different than it used to be, I guess, because all the serious combat issues. Right. What they did is they actually created like 130%. Right. That's what it looks like they did. Right. So that should be fine. And I looked at the requirements. That's pretty much where I am. Right. It's the old 100%, but it's now 70%. Right. Because they pretty much, like I said, created 130%. Right. I had a lot of pain today. Whew. I had to do Instacart. I just not up to going out. Right. So I do have PTSD. Right. Is it service connected? I'm sure I could if I wanted to. Right. Oh, yeah, it is service connected. It killed you because you're a sapper leader, probably. They're weirdos. Work for foreign powers and shit. It's partially back to where I was in Amarillo. I'm not sure what did it. Now I stopped taking the turmeric because again, it's just there. That's one of the curses. I can tell because I'm having difficulty getting all my medications and supplements. The turmeric, when I take it, I know I should be taking Advil, but that'll screw up my stomach and I'll get sicker. So I have to grin and bear it because I don't want to lay in bed and burp all night, and then I won't sleep. The turmeric actually helps the stomach, right? And it also, fights the inflammation. I take like a double dose of it. I kind of scored on Instacart. They were giving me all sorts of discounts. I was getting $10 off here, so it's paying for itself. Even with I did the fast delivery and didn't have to pay the fee because they gave me like $10. So I ended up saving anyway. Well, something wasn't available, and I did like a couple of orders. I think 3 orders, but they kept giving me $10 off. Right. And some of the stuff was on sale at Hy-Vee, so wasn't too bad. Now they shouldn't have been allowed to do this to me, not one bit. I mean, it just boggles the mind. All I had to do was just go to massage, and they just had to let me be. That was it, and I'd been fine the rest of my life. I mean, it wouldn't have mattered. I couldn't get there to COVID if I had been gone the whole, additional 6 years. Right. Right. I don't even know if I'm going to sleep tonight. I'm so sick. I can feel my stomach getting screwed up just laying here a little bit. Got no idea. Now I can't even tell if it's the mold because the one pollen sense says the mold is high, which it probably is because it's probably in my walls, right? And the other sensor, the whatever it is, AccuWeather or whatever it is, says that it's low. I tend to believe the pollen sense, but you know that's been weird. First the sensor wasn't there, then the sensor's there. Well, it says it's pretty. It's going down right now, which I feel a little better. So it was interesting that that happened, which might say, yeah, it's the mold. Ooh, I'm in so much pain. Oh my God. But it's weird because like it involves my lower back, but the highest pain is this upper part. And if I get that part to relax, the lower pain goes away. So it might be that ablation therapy where they kill that nerve. But I wish I could have got to that in Amarillo. I wish they'd have stayed away from me. I mean, you see, I move from one city to the next, and they all right there. That's not supposed to happen. Especially, I'm disabled. I've been disabled for years, decades. Now, if you weren't listening earlier, I'm gonna try to make this shorter to make sure this part gets out there. For porn investigations, if you see a thumbnail that looks like possible child porn and you want to research it to see if it is, and you don't find it to be that in the video, find a way to find out if that image is in the video. Then also look to see if it's been AI'd or Photoshopped to make it appear like a younger person. Because I think that's illegal. Like they're getting away with it not being child porn because it's not in the video. But I don't think I didn't look at the whole video, but it looks too different. So what I think they did is they altered a still from the video to look like child porn, which makes that still child porn. The other thing is you have to require those porn companies to allow people to report without logging in, or they're not going to report. So it may be a scam to get less reports. So I don't know. Like I report stuff on X, but when I reported before, when I was in Santa Fe, I report to the FBI. Right. But you know what? I don't know if that report goes anywhere. That's another thing. Research that. Make sure you're getting your reports from the appropriate reports from the porn companies, like Pornhub. Or, you know, you should get every report I could. Right. And lastly, the login part is overcomable by using a VPN. If we made it a national law, they could just say they were overseas. Because I already tested that. What I did first is I tested the state one. And that pretty much did. I just said I was in California because they probably allow everything. Then I said I was somewhere in Europe, I think. I can't even remember where it was. And then it allowed me in also. Because I was wondering, sometimes when you do that and say you're overseas, they won't let you into the site. Right. Got to log into an overseas site. So the only way to do it is what I was describing before, a clean feed system. And the clean feed system monitors all the internet coming into our country, is the way I believe in that. I don't believe it's a specific internet providers. I think it does it. Or maybe we should do it at the entrance points. I don't know how it all works, right? How many entrance points we have and how it all works. Actually, no, it has to monitor what's in our country also. So I guess it would link to the internet provider. So all internet providers will be required to go through that system. And it scans for things. And I guess you could report things to it and would monitor. So essentially, if you try to go to with a clean feed system or something similar like that, if you try to go to a porn site, you can make it so they have to log in to view any porn in the United States, theoretically. I mean, some might get through still, but it'd be very difficult. Right? And that's the only way to do it. Well, because it would still, right? Okay, so it's like a what do they call that thing? The nanny thing, where you can make it where your kids can't view porn. So the setting would be on. When you log in and prove your age, then the setting gets turned off and they're no longer blocking porn. So essentially it's a national porn blocker. But if you log in, then it opens it up. Now, I don't know how effective it would be or how much expensive it would be. Again, because I don't know, you have the satellites now. So again, I don't know if it works with satellite, unless you require that to go through it too. It'd be expensive, but that's the only way to really completely block kids from porn. I mean, it's probably working to a certain degree, right? So the only thing that will work is a national porn blocker. I believe that will work. And then when you log in and prove your age, then it turns the porn blocker off. Now, you could require something like that at every internet access or internet provider. Right. That would be another way to do it. Well, because I think if you go through the VPN and you try to with this system, I think if you go with a VPN, it would still, because you're still going through you go through your provider to the VPN, right, which is a virtual. It says you're somewhere. What happens is I never used them, but I was getting hacked real bad, and my internet was real slow, and I was having trouble getting the site. I was getting like denial of service per individual, I would believe. Right? So I got the VPN and it started working because they couldn't block me as much. Right? I don't know if maybe you could do it for a state. I don't know. Maybe Council kind of expensive for a state, but a state might be able to do that. All internet coming into the state. It would actually restrict speed though, because I think you probably have so many different lines coming into the state, right? But you could require. Try to think. Yeah, you could require it in the state. Kansas could require once you develop it. It probably isn't that difficult, especially for only a state level. So the internet service providers, There may be ways around it, but this is probably tighter than what you have. Right? You can require every internet service provider to have porn automatically blocked, and then the person has to prove their age, and then it unblocks it. So it isn't just a site. It's like when it senses any porn. I don't know how that porn blockers work exactly, but when it senses porn, right, then it shuts it down. I don't know if it has to be like programmed, or does it automatically detect it? And again, with AI coming up, we probably could do it much easier. Right. So, like every internet service provider could be required, or porn, any of the portal coming into the state if you really wanted to do it. That sounds a little bit big. I think the internet service provider. So anybody accesses the internet through Kansas would have a porn blocker automatically turned on. And to turn it off, they have to prove their age. Otherwise, there's too many ways around it. Then I was thinking if we did a national one, so if they did a different state, there's a way to do it. They're saying there's a way to fail anybody from another country getting into. Actually, no, that's too difficult. There's a way to do it, but that would be too difficult. The easiest way is to just have a porn blocker turned on by default. And if anybody's going to search porn or view porn, you can search it and it just won't come up. Right? They'll have to log in. So again, that login would probably come up to prove their age. And that way you don't have to depend on the porn company. Yeah, essentially, they have nothing to do with it then. Thank you, Larry. Because it's only the porn company is out there, and well, you could I guess you could double it if you want. The question is, can somebody access the internet without it? I guess now the satellite goes straight into the phone. Yeah, that's not the point. I guess satellite internet is overcomable. Right. It's just a satellite. Unless, the satellite knows you'd actually have to. Yeah, the internet service provider is a satellite, like Elon, Starlink, and it knows the location that it's beaming it to, I believe. Right. Well, then we're not. All they do is put a porn blocker. You turn it off. You have to prove their age. Right. So the satellite will know if they're in Kansas. Right. I believe. But I could be wrong. Agree. So it's pretty stupid now. Doesn't really work. But yeah, maybe the average kid's okay. I mean, they're better. They're computer savvy. Right? Run through the store with the phone at like 3 years old. Right. That one kid ordered all. I mean, like some of the kids are like 5 years old ordering off of Amazon. Their mom's like, "Oh my god." That's what happened with that woman supposedly that needed the money for her daughter's gift. She said one of her daughters got her phone and downloaded all this Google stuff, and she doesn't have money for gifts. And I told her I'd give her gifts. I mean, all I do is let me live my life. I mean, this is so much bullshit. because I don't force myself on anybody. Never have. I had, like I told you, I had sex. Now I've been in cam situations, but not that many. Most of that is just gab, 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 gab. Right. Again, they operated me to get me in those situations. Right. I mean, a single guy that's been tortured for that many years. It's right compared to what really happens out there. I'm nothing. Right. But I really only had sex with 3 people, and it would have been one person if it wasn't for the deep state. All right, actually, it'd probably been 2 when I married the second woman. Right. I mean, I'd also marry the second woman. Right. Oh my God. But it takes a lot to investigate the algorithms when it involves people on the ground. Right. That's what it did to me. Algorithm steering me, and then the people would show up, trying to get me to try to hit on them or something. Right. Thank you, Larry. It could be that my hips are getting tight, and because I'm not feeling up to driving, but if I don't drive, then sometimes my hips get tight because when you sit, your hips will spread. Now I did, actually, to tell you the truth, even before massage, I did that yoga, and they were messing with me in yoga. Right. Like I went to the perfect kind of situation, right, in California. Correct. And I was so healthy because I had picked up the yoga practice, but more so than the regular yoga, I was doing yin yoga. We do it like every Friday night. I think I even had another class. So like people were out there getting drunk. I mean, this is really who I was and who I am. I mean, after the church failed me, I gravitated towards, like yoga spirituality, which is somewhat Hindu and Vedic. Right. And Friday night in Venice, people doing drugs, getting high, having sex, and I'm sitting there in a yin yoga class where you just lay into the pose. I mean, it's so relaxing. We used to have a woman come in there, and she'd start snoring about halfway through the class. She'd just fall asleep. So what happens is they somehow get the local people involved, and then once they start shitting on you, there's nothing left but shit. Right? Your life just turns to shit because now you're not accepted. Right? So I mean, I was on the right track several times. Right? And they just kept killing it. And then, like I said, when I came out of massage and I couldn't get the massage in Santa Fe, I went in to Planet Fitness, and they had the massage beds. So God actually set it up so that I could go from that to that, and I was healthy all over again. And I was just like walking. I really wasn't lifting that many weights. I would do pull downs and things like that, which would stretch my back and everything. Right. There was no reason for them to do anything. Like I think the hint was like, or they were hinting, well, you said hi to somebody that was like 18 years old or some shit. I'm like, but the woman was coming around, the young woman was coming around me. I said hi because I wondered what the hell's going on. Right. It wasn't like, hey, babe, breathing down her neck. But none of that. I never do that. Right. So they did is there was this woman. They tried to freak me out so I'd leave the gym, and I did, again, pushing through. So there was this young woman, like I said, she's a college student. I don't know how old she was, but I was there with a couple people. We were all just sitting there in a circle, kind of working out, and we got into discussion about, because it's a gym. I mean, people of all different ages have conversations, right? And she said how sore she was. So I went next door before I left and bought some Epsom salt, and I gave it to her. I said, here's, because I told her about Epsom salt, and then I said, here, this is it, so you know. Enjoy, kind of. And I walked off and went home. Then I never saw her again because they got involved. Right. I mean, it's so crazy. I probably wouldn't have talked to her again. I don't even remember. I probably wouldn't even remember what she looked like. Right. I mean, these are professional operations that are going on, right? They're using young people, but they're professional, right? So they show up with this bait girl. So I start staring down the bait girl. And the one woman who's the, I don't know if she's a lesbian and has sex with the bait girl or not, but she's like the matron, And she's looking at me and shaking her head no. And I'm just like, yeah, right. I'm going to diss you off all I can after what you did in my life. Right. But this is post the massage. I'm looking for young girls? No, not really. But like I said, older women couldn't massage me. Right. They weren't strong enough. Correct. Thank you, Larry. And I wasn't going to go to the man because I knew if they played a game, they try to tell everybody I tried to have sex with a man. Like I was leery about that. I wasn't leery about the woman, but I was leery about a man. Right. So like the young woman that I was getting a massage from, she put her head like about 3 inches above my penis. They're either corrupt and wanted money for sex, right? And again, I had my shorts on, right, and I guess a blanket. I mean, she's massaging me, and she bends over like I don't even know how she did it, but she had her head. She was laying like almost flat, and her head facing my crotch. And I was like, does she like me or something? What's going on here? I'm really like stupid. I'm like thinking, does she know not how, like, it wasn't like I was trying to have a relationship with her, right? But I'm thinking, I'm going to try to help her, does she not know how that's not, because she had a kid. I'm like, is that how she starts a date? All she knows is you have sex. I mean, people are like that. They grow up just, guys, the first thing you do when you have a relationship is sex, right? So I'm thinking, so I said, I'll just give her my card. And I gave her my card. I said, this is who I am, just, I'm not going to have sex with her, but if she calls me, I'm going, yeah, we can go out to, lunch or something, or coffee or something, right? And just show her neutrality and somebody that's not trying to have sex. I always pride myself to be that. Now, of course, you agents don't do that, and the people investigating me don't do that. You all go out to the clubs and places and have sex, or did at least in your life, right? And I pride myself, and they know this, in correcting something that's wrong. Like this, if somebody freaks out, I try to, make sure I talk to them. But it turns out they were telling them stuff, right? Making them scared. I'm sorry. No, but their wheel was like crazy because like I had to go and I forgot, like they'll do something to me and I'll forget to buy something because like I was going up to the counter and I wanted to say hi to this one lady because she's just freaking out all around me. But it turns out like all these people were in line behind me were the agents or whoever they are, right? So I'm like, oh shit, I forgot. And like at the last minute, I remember I forgot something. And I walk off and get it. And they're like, because I wasn't going to be able to say hi to that woman. I don't even remember if I did or not. But I mean, if I want to say hi to somebody, I get to say hi to somebody, especially somebody acting weird. Right. Thank you, Lawrence. No, the real sex offenders, they're living large, believe me. They're hanging out with the chief of police at the bar. Believe me. Correct. Long silence. I had no right to do it. Well, I got wheeled down, I guess. I was so close to renting that place for $1,000. It would have been a lot of money. I mean, like, because I was making $36,000, and some of that went to insurance and tax, and it would have been for I don't know if it had utilities attached. For the studio, it was like I think it was $1,000 a month on Pacific Boulevard. It was just I guess I don't even know. I guess about 400 square foot studio. Probably wasn't bad. I probably cost a ton. Probably refurbished and cost a ton of money right now. Right? I was almost ready to stay, and then they obviously did some things. Like the one guy, he offers me bit parts, and then he runs away Runs out like when I go out to put my long pants on and get ready to leave, and he comes running out and he's like, well, maybe, forget about that. You can go, he said something. I don't even remember what he said. It was like really weird. He was just trying to get out of it. Right. I figured the deep state, may have said something to him, right, or made him scared, right. Like when I walk out, they walk in front of him, point to me, and shake their head no, or something like that, right? Hollywood, and Malibu, that's deep state, right? That's who runs it, right? So then, like one of the head women there, I'm just sitting there and I'm looking out in the space, and I come into focus, and she's staring at me, and she's got this evil look. So they must have said, be careful, that guy might try to have sex with someone. I think that's what they're doing, right? That's the way everybody treats me. Like I'm going to try to have sex with a young girl, right? Whatever that woman was, I don't even remember her name. It wasn't the Shiva one; it was the other one. I was just tickled to be in all those situations and something new and working well, and I was very healthy. I mean, yoga was the greatest thing for me, but they wouldn't let it take, man. They just kept killing it and killing my body with it. They knew what they're doing, man. These people, like I said, when they started this on me, they were already like somebody was 60 years old. When I was 40, when they started, somebody was 60-year-olds having similar problems I'm having now. That's how I know. Now, some of the people that were in it when I started, they're dead now and they're in hell. And if that's where you want to go, then fine, all of you. Keep fucking with me. I mean, I don't know where this is going to end up. I was really sick today. Like the other days, I was a little sick, and then I was able to get rid of it for part of the day. I couldn't do it today. So get me that money, and I'll get out of here. Again, I don't really believe they want me to leave. I think it's a game, like a push-pull, right? Well, again, I don't know if you all hear me or not, but with Elon, I wouldn't badmouth. Nobody should badmouth the judge. If you, what's her name, Pam Bondi should appeal it if she wants to, saying we don't think we should have to destroy this. Don't just ignore it. You have to appeal it if you don't want to destroy it. If the judge finds out you didn't destroy it, he could lock you up for up to 6 months. The president can't pardon you. I don't believe he can, at least, right? It's contempt. I don't think contempt of court any crime. They just hit him with contempt of court again and say stay in there. Probably can pardon them, and they get him with contempt of court again. Like I'm saying, don't start a fight with the judiciary because it's not something that's going to work. Even if you can pardon somebody for contempt, right? You still don't want them ruling against you, right? Well, what I'm trying to say is, this happens to a lot of different people, a lot of different presidents. They're not picking on you, but they are picking on you because they're the Democrats and you're the Republican. Right. So look back to history, and there's a way to handle this. There's no need to just go crazy. The only thing, like I said, the only thing I found where is the judge wanted you to destroy it without saying, you have to collect it all up and put it somewhere and give it to some sort of court-appointed custodian or something. Right. I wouldn't ignore it. Right. Well, yeah, the mold could cause an increase in the pain. I know that happens. Right. But I don't know if it is. Because the weird part is the Overland Park sensor disappeared. I said something about the Overland Park sensor's back, and it's rating a really high mold. Because they know I don't like being around mold. Because I think they're trying to get me to just leave my apartment and, within a month and pay like $3,000-$4,000 to get out of here, right? And then have no money and a debt. Right? They get paid if they increase my debt. I mean, this is all illegal stuff, but that's what they're doing. Thanks, Larry. I changed the food from the beans because I don't know if the beans, could cause more pain. I never heard of that, but for some they cause a pain syndrome. But the weird part is now I can tell, before I thought it was just a pinched nerve in my back and it was causing it at the top of my back. But I think now I can feel that it's pulling down. So essentially it's that thing where your back tightens up if your lumbar screwed up, your back can just tighten up because it thinks you're falling. When they kill those nerves, then it relaxes and releases. But the question is, if it completely releases at this point, is that too released? Right. Which would really suck because I'd have to deal with it until the nerve grows back. But again, that's right. They test it first. They numb it. First thing they do is numb it. Right. No, I don't know what happened. I woke up and I just couldn't get rid of the pain today. My left side's all screwed up and it's really tight. Now it was just enough to use the arnica gel and it would work. And it's expensive stuff. I don't have money. You can't get arnica on prescription. So again, if I were all of you, I'd contact VA, get me 70% disability right away. No, I looked at it like, oh my God. I'm glad they have that. It's very touching that they do that for people that are even worse off than me. Right. Thank you, Larry. But, I definitely have PTSD. And again, you have to understand, the government gave me PTSD, okay? Whether it's military, it could be military related. I know they were using the fact that I was in the military to do stuff to my brain. Because your brain, my brain is wired differently. That's why I can do all this stuff that I do. Right. So they know that wiring and they do a certain psychological thing and then it gives me all these issues. Right. Thank you, Larry. But I definitely have PTSD, which is, when you look at the description for 70%, it says musculoskeletal and PTSD, and I have both of those. Right. Thank you much. There's a description. I don't know where it came from. That's how I figured out. Oh, wait a minute. It's like a lot of money. It's like huge, 100%. And then all these benefits because essentially they're homebound. And if I'm not careful, it could happen, but I'm not there yet. Right. But I'm semi-homebound, you know what I mean? Right. I'm walking around talking to you. If I had 100%, it would be very difficult to do that. Right. Thank you, Larry. Based upon the description of 100%. It's really with the benefits and everything, but it isn't something you want to be, Right. I think that's probably worth about $5,000 or $6,000 a month because they give you, people to come in and help you. I mean, I really do need that, and it might be available at 70%, just not as much. Right. So I probably do need the 70% so I can. The problem is with the other stuff, I don't have any of that. right? It's just kind of a flat rate. I didn't went back to work at other places. I mean, I'm serious. I didn't want anything to do with the government when I left. I was like, if I could just get a job and have enough money where I could give all this back and just not, not want it. Like I'm healed by, right? Right. That was really my goal, but I don't believe I ever got really on it. I mean, when I was in California, it was probably very possible. Right. I mean, I didn't believe investing would be successful. I believe they would crash my money to a certain point, right? And I end up with nothing. So like when I think things crash, I'm wondering if they're assassinating somebody, right? And I just tell they're in a circle to pull money out at a certain point, right? But what the Lord had arranged was for me to buy these houses, right, to cover the loss or to get profit. Like every house that I looked at that I was serious about would have probably appreciated 100,000 within a couple of years, and did probably. Right? I can't think. I don't know if I looked at the other one, but the one did. Right. So I paid like 150,000, 108. Well, the one was 110,000, and it went up more than 100,000 actually within a couple of years. Because as soon as we came out of the downturn, everything went back up. Right. Actually, that one would have been another year or two. I looked at that early. Well, I was getting ready to leave Florida, and my mother said, essentially, look, I'll co-sign on a house for you. Just stay here. We'll get a house. You'll get a house somewhere around there. I said, okay. And it was actually perfect. The deep state made her crazy, but it was a perfect house because it had a little pool. I mean, she would have loved being there. No, they shouldn't have been in my life. It just would have worked out. Believe me, the Lord was structuring it. I agree, Larry. And again, them stressing you out is what actually starts the tightening. It's like a pain syndrome type of thing. They're sick people. So I bought some food just to see if my stomach gets better. And even like in my bedroom here, I have more pain, it feels like. Actually, I got it too warm in here. So it could be mold or dust mites or both. It's like hard. Crashed my life here. Now I'm all sick. Like I said, I'm ready to give all this stuff away. Anybody want some televisions? I mean, I pay good money for all this, but I don't get attached to things, especially when I have health issues. And they know it. They just want me to throw it all away so they can laugh at me throwing away things in the trash. The first time they got me to do that was like Indianapolis. But I mean, I healed, right? Kind of did that in Naples. I healed, but the last couple times it hasn't happened for me. So they're kind of conditioning me to that. I'm just not sure why it didn't heal this time. I guess it's a little tight. It's real tight. Okay, let me like just manipulate the muscle. See if I can get it to release. So like it's actually kind of like it was when I was in Tyler, Texas. It's just going to get real bad soon. I couldn't get it to release. Well, I have to get the muscles to relax before the massage is actually going to take, because it's going to be this craziness. It's going to be totally released and then cramp back up again, then totally release and cramp back up again, then totally release. Right. I have to get it so like the corticosteroid gets it to relax, and then it heals. Usually, I mean that's what it was doing before. Right. No, there's no way that they're supposed to be in my life. I had so many disability episodes; it wasn't even funny. I mean, these are prolonged episodes. That's why I'm like freaking out. Like 6 months to a year of sickness, of serious sickness. They know that. They saw it. The whole time I was in, at a certain point, the whole time I was in Indianapolis, I was sick. I didn't get well until I got back down to Naples. And then Dr. Burrell gave me a shot, but it wasn't like instant. Right. He gave me, I think it was my jaw well, it's just really my neck and everything, what it turned out to be was all crunched. Right. And when he gave me that shot, and the shot affected my entire body. Right. And relaxed my body. And then I pulled he said, pull your jaw down. He goes, after I do this, just keep pulling your jaw down. See, he knows that's like, I never got this from anybody. Right. But Dr. Burrell, he'd tell you what to do. I just remembered why it was different. He'd give you a great juice of corticosteroid and tell you, pull your jaw down, stretch this or do that. Right. And he actually, the corticosteroid he gave me in the lumbar epidural didn't completely work until the lady gave me 2 shots in my shoulders. I tried to replicate that in Texas, but it didn't do anything hardly at all. And it may have got me healthy to a certain degree where I could, at least with it cramped, could walk. And, kind of weird, but I mean, this is crazy. I mean, there's no reason for them to have done any of it. Again, I can't talk to you when you're psychologically torturing me because I'm in shock. It's essentially they put you in shock. So I'm living in shock from what they're doing. And I was. I mean, we call it PTSD and panic attack, but they put you in shock. It's that bad. Because here you're trying to get somewhere, and next thing you know, you're sick for 6 months. Or you try to meet somebody and they're torturing you. Your cop's driving past you, and the woman won't talk to you now. Or she completely disappears. I mean, they're torturing people. I'd like to know who they were and where each one kind of worked for, and were they just an informant, or were they an agent, or a CIA person, or who? Correct. Oh, they weren't people. They weren't people. No way. And I might curse you for insinuating that, because I can feel what you're doing, all of you. May have been CIA. Just people training up for CIA. They'll do anything to make that money and be famous, I mean, if I needed surgery, I could have got surgery last time. If they just would have stayed away from me. I lined up some pretty good surgeons. They were the younger ones, but they were in the facilities where the great surgeons were. University of Pennsylvania, Jefferson Hospital. Now, I did talk to the guy down at the Azalea Clinic in Tyler, but I was probably not going to go with him. I did detect that I was hit, and then for some reason, they got nice to me. While I was in there, some of the assistants were, bedside manner wasn't even considered at all. I mean, they were rude, and I was in a lot of pain. I don't know if they knew how much pain I was in. Correct. No, I was horrible. It was horrible. I was crunched up and couldn't get. And then he punctured my sac and my spine. And I don't know if that's what made the anesthesia so strong. It was horrible. I couldn't walk, and I was all numb. Like hours later, and I'm like, "What's going on?" Because I barely feel the numbness when I got it before. Right. All I know is that the epidural didn't hurt. Right. And I was out the door in my car driving home. I mean, it was nothing. One time I did go back to the office. I felt bad, but I was like, I'm feeling kind of weird. Right. I should go back to the office. He stood by my side and did my blood pressure. Just a great doctor. Absolutely great doctor. I don't even know if he's alive anymore. I mean, he's older. Right. I'm sure he's probably a healthy guy. Doctors tend to be healthier, right? But he's just a great doctor. And they if they just let my life be, I'd have met a woman and it'd have been over. Right. I'd have found a woman and had a normal life. I wouldn't even probably went to the gym. But I mean, I would have found a place to exercise and all that. Right. Because, I mean, it's the only place I'm getting any social interaction, but they're playing me there. You know what I mean? So it develops into something weird. Right. And then you got like the sheriff's department car driving off to the driving like to the corner, right, off to my blind side. Just playing a game. I mean, it's disgusting, right? And again, who ordered it? Probably Rick Henry, and Marshall Hughes, and Karen Shelton, and Chief Quick. I mean, think about that. That's why they take you out of government, so nobody will investigate it then, right? Again, I left myself, but they wanted to take me out. I wonder how much they get paid for getting somebody to commit suicide. I mean, right after John, they were doing it before Jonathan Luna committed suicide. So Jonathan Luna commits suicide, and they just keep doing it for me, or actually increasing. I was like the next guy to be killed by these people. So again, we continue. At this point, it actually might be my hips and my leg seems like it's stiffened a little bit. I'm not taking any magnesium baths like I was, and not getting to the massage like I was recently. So I don't know. I just can't think of what the next move is. Kind of listening and oracle a little bit there. I was hoping to keep that at a half hour, but well, nothing to do but walk around the apartment. I mean, I gotta get out of bed and gotta walk. Like it's not even comfortable to lay in bed or sit. At least I was able to get it comfortable to lay in bed, right? Then when I'd walk, my right leg would be really stiff, and my left leg would be stiff but short. I guess it's actually longer. It's just bizarre, the whole thing. I mean, it never should have happened to me. Again, it was already starting in Santa Fe because they had blocked me, right? There's no, they just say, oh, he's getting older. They know they're aging the person. They know they're making, and then they go, well, we're aging him because he's trying to have sex with young girls. No, I'm not. Right. Like insane. And yeah, probably they know it's an assassination. They just make up the bullshit and they kill the person. 100%. But why do I say it now? Because it's coming up. Right. Did a little bit of work today, and I memories of the shit you all did. Right. Thanks, Larry. Well, you're right. If I get massage, but I got to find the right massage. I mean, this is the point. The Lord found me the right massage people, and they screwed it up. I don't know if they're all real massage people. I think maybe some were agents, right, or SCIA. I mean, I was like the nicest guy in the city, just about, right? Like, it's just, people. are so dirty that they try to put that on me. Right. No, they got Monica too with it. Right. Monica Maurice. I wish I could have got it. I guess maybe she had to move. She won't always tell me everything. Maybe she got busted for working Uber while on that housing program. Right. But I think they got her. They harassed her and everything. Again, I saw her like all of a sudden care more about money than she's ever. She never, she really embraced Christianity, and tried to be humble and just go to church. Right. Well, I don't know. So it says low. I mean, it's impressive on the Pollen Sense app, right? And it's weird because let me see what time that is. Yeah, I'd say right when the mold rose up at 12, around 12, actually a little bit before. My pain was actually before that, like 8, right? It rose up real high at 12 and got real bad. So it was actually it's kind of in sync with the mold. Now I still have pain, but it's reducing a little bit, and the mold's reducing. Right. I'm trying to see yesterday if the mold was lower. I guess not. So I don't know. I just hope they aren't faking me out with fake mold ratings. I mean, because like the deep state can do that, right? And I might be the only person that sees them. But it looks like it's about way to go back up at 6 p.m. Right. Yeah, all night is going to be high. Hmm. I'd like to go get massages, but now I can't because I got to clean my apartment, and I only got so much done today, and I was just in too much pain. The mold's about to go back up again. Well, if I had the money, I could get by much better. I mean, it's overdue. I don't know if you all know how much work I did. I advised the government on a lot of different things. They didn't pay me. I guess they figured. I didn't figure it. The person said, "Oh, he gets paid. He got his retirement." Ah, that sucked. Thank you, Mary. Let me just go and get my 70% retirement. No, it's not going to go down lower. 70% is just. Right. See, I'm a good person. Right. Thank you, Mary. No, 70. Like I thought the 70% was 100%. Like that's where I thought it was. Just about that amount. Right. I know I don't rate all that extra care. I have no idea what happened to our weather, but I did say it could change. Like if you got me the money, I would probably have to wait till Wednesday when they come through, right? And I'd probably lock it up, right? And then I'd probably travel someplace warm and get massages and other things down there for a while. I'm gonna see if I get any better down there. Now there's other allergens down there, but Now they're making fun of Elon again. That's why. That's why you don't talk. You just do it. Because now they're calculating his cuts, and they say they're just BS cuts, right? So if he didn't make the noise, but I made it. But I guess these are kind of BS, unless they was for spy work, right, or something like that. Yeah, you have to get that 401k into Social Security, as I've been telling you. Right. You still want that portion of it to be Social Security, right? And then give the option for investment. But you have to keep the money in the fund. You can't keep moving it around, right? Now it'll fix easy that way because the young people will really get into it, right? People that normally don't 401k will start doing it, right? I was just amazed how the massage healed me. I was just so happy to be on my bicycle again. I just can't believe it. You know, they were able to do that to my mind. Right. Yeah, I think the only way to fix Social Security is to cause it to be an investment. You know, have a portion of it to be an investment fund, right? As long as the regular economy doesn't get destroyed, right? Thank you, Larry. There's probably no other way because you really can't cut, right? I mean, and if you do cut it, it's going to be small, right? So not only do we have to make it an investment fund, we also have to hawk it. You know, we need like what do they call it? Fund managers to call them, you know, stockbrokers. You have to run an aggressive operation. Put it. Yeah, don't go crazy with costing too much advertisement, but something that works. Right? Put it on the internet. Right. Thank you, Larry. Somebody just said that. I could be God. I don't know. So what it'll be very user friendly. We'll have some low risk investments and some higher risk investments, but the core Social Security will still remain. Now I don't know. I guess we have to do that. We have to keep it. Right? Any more deduction would have to come from, elective. No, because if somebody invests and it goes, who knows if it goes belly? I don't know if it can go belly up, but I hate for somebody not to have anything. Right. Thank you, Larry. But yeah, okay, yeah, I'm thinking with somebody or something. If we just put safe, like make it an investment fund, but if you drop below a certain amount, it reverts back to the other funds. I'm not sure how to do that. I mean, not how to do that, but what that formula would be. Well, the idea is not for people to end up losing money and then have to revert back to the other funds, right? God bless you, Larry. Thanks, sir. And again, these wars, I mean, the amount that it cost us, oh my God. Right. Great, Larry. Christy Noem is deep state. I should start saying that. She's doing a great job. She's got to juggle a little bit, and she's doing it, I think. Thank you, Larry. She's doing the Super Bowl. Is she doing that stuff? Lester, what is it called? Where you lose the weight. I think she lost weight. Okay, what were the leaks? Do we know any of the leaks? Or are we just posturing? Right. LA is going to be a difficult, but I mean, it could be net a ton of results. But who knows now? He might move. Thank you, Larry. I'm reading the news article. Oh yeah, I'll let you go. I'm reading the news article on the leak. I'm trying to figure out how it works. All right, stay peaceful.